Disciple of Bolas and Lash Writhe.
It's nuts.
Very powerful. Or even just drops Messenger. I mean, Messenger's a fine dude to sack to your...
Lash Writhe and Vampire Nighthawk.
Or Wormcoil Engine, too.
I'm actually sad that new Liliana is not in here. We have a couple of Liliana the Veil. But
but he's just keeping it clean. That's what he really wants to do, you know? Like, you can only play so many 4-drops.
I say play all of the 4-drops.
He's already playing 10.
No, you can play more. Play 30. and then 26 land and 4 sphere.
So we're seeing a reenactment of Jerry versus Brad. With on the left, Jerry playing mono black control versus on the right, the villain, Brad Nelson with blue white Delver.
Looks like this list has a little bit more removal than that other list did.
Yeah, this is definitely tuned like a guy who's been playing some mono black recently. Like, he means it, he's serious about it, and he's not just going to play with some cute cards. This is really what he's doing. You know, he's got a straight face. Yep. We're supposed to believe him.
Sign in blood instead of Nile Spellbomb.
I like it.
An actual curve to his removal. 4 slip, 2 go for the throat, 2 gets verdict, and then 2 Liliana, 3 mutilate.
And a Karn. I like it. I like the Vampire Nighthawks too. The Nighthawk Lash Writhe combo, so good.
And I mean, Nighthawk can run into an Angel. Yep. A lot of creatures cannot run into an Angel. A Nighthawk, it'll die, but it'll take somebody with it.
Yeah. So Costa stockpiling Mana Leaks. What do you think about these decks not playing any Caverns? I mean, obviously he's got Lash Writhe, and that's the reason, and Mutilate too. But like, would 1 Cavern really be that?
I think 1 or 2 Caverns would be fine. I mean, just being able to do something like this and say, you know what? This Disciple of Bolas resolves. It resolves.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, particularly if he sticks something else first where he can actually just get full value out of it. Like, that can just win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I have drawn a lot of cards in my time, and if you can do it uncounterably, that just seems really devastating to a lot of these decks.
Definitely better than doing it counterably.
Right? Hey, look at this, you countered it. Okay, and is it going to be leaked? Look at that. I'm willing to make my Mutilate not be perfect. It's like, I have played a lot of decks with Vidalcan Shackles, where my Shackles have a lot of non-Shackle lands in them. And you know what? It usually doesn't matter.
If you had any idea how many times I've tapped 3 Grove of the Burnwillows to cast a Vidalcan Shackles with black cards in my hand.
Right? And the thing is yes, you're not optimal with your Shackles. But you know what? Your deck is probably just fine. And it might be a better deck than the deck that's optimal with Shackles. And we see a Mutagenic Growth quasi-counter, a Tragic Slip there on Tiago Chan, the Snapcaster Mage.
This wasn't during the attack phase, was it?
Oh, yes.
That's embarrassing. That's why, dude, you can't be so cute with it. You gotta be... Besides, what if it was a Restoration Angel?
Yep. End of your turn itis kills.
Yeah.
And there is an Angel in hand. You just held back with it.
Not all cards should be played at instant speed just because they can.
Yep.
Once you start playing everything at instant speed, then it's like you're back to sorcery speed because there's only one time you're playing your cards. The nice thing is you have the option. Alright, so James Gerbic, mono black control, up to 6 mana. Still gonna have to fight through a lot of Mana Leaks and Angels. There's the Metamorph with Mana Leak mana.
And we're gonna see a slip come here, I think. And it's gonna be stymied by a Restoration Angel, most likely. Oh, he passes. Oh, nope. Okay. If it's not at a verdict, then it's not gonna do that much work. Okay, Sign in Blood.
I like it.
I like that better.
I like it. We gonna see a Mana Leak, you think? Or an Angel? Because the Angel can put a lot of pressure on him.
I think we're gonna see an Angel.
What would be real nice is if he's so tilted from the Tragic Slip not working that he tries to do it now. Alright.
Boink. And now we've got a clock on the table. 2 turns for James Gerbic to be vanquished by Matt Costa.
Single Mutilate's all it takes.
One of the dangers of playing a deck like James is if you're on the back foot and your opponent has actual counter magic, oh, that's rough too. You can just be taken out.
Runechanter's Pike, very hard for straight mono black. He doesn't even have access to Ratchet Bomb in his main deck. So pretty much every threat from here on out is lethal. But it could be worse. It could be a Sword of Feast and Famine.
Oh boy, and Matt Costa has the Thought Scour to win versus James Gerbic there. He targets himself, makes his Runechanter's Pike more than enough for Matt Costa's Angel to kill James Gerbic with mono black control. Now, you have to imagine that if James has put some work in here, and it looks like his list is a list that has been honed, you have to imagine that he has most prepared for a Delver opponent. So looking at his sideboard, I see Doomblade, I see Ratchet Bomb, I see Mutilate, all cards that I would see as very valuable cards there. I also see Surgical Extraction. Some people like Surgical Extraction versus Delver. I am not one of those
The fact
people.
that he's got it in his board, he's probably the type. Like, if you just wanted it for the Reanimator matchup, you'd play Nihil Spellbomb and be happy about it. Probably.
I think that one of the things about Surgical Extraction that tricks people is they think what they're doing is they're getting you when they when they take care of that Snapcaster Mage. I mean,
it's like you can get them gotten, but at what cost?
Yeah,
you know?
well, what did you get, right? You got to be even on them rather than down on them.
Well, no, you're still down. You traded a card for their card, but they still have a 2.
Yeah, you're still down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're down. I mean, it's just, is it important? You know, like, is that the key battle? Because, like, Force of Willing a card, if you're using your Surgical as a 0 mana Force of Will, then it's worth it under the right circumstances, as long as you're countering a spell that is worth the being down on, you know?
I mean, let's pretend that your deck is just dead to one card from Delver. Okay, fine. I would have less problem with it in that, you know, you could perhaps strip it from their hand.
This surprises me. You're a guy who just main deck extirpates more than most.
I've only main deck extirpated once.
Which is much more than most.
No, twice. Same deck though. That was a good deck.
So Matt Costa up 1-0 versus James.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of that style of effect when it's reasonable, but I don't think it's a reasonable way to fight against Snapcaster Mages.
Snapcaster Mage is not a reasonable card. In this day and age, you have to be willing to not be reasonable.
Here we have Matt Costa on the right, up 1-0.
What's he got in the board coming in?
He's got Celestial Purge access to it, Oblivion Ring, which might as well say Vindicate.
Well, hitting the swamp I think is pretty good here too. But
Fair. Dissipate if he wants it, and Negate if he wants it.
I think Negate's too good not to. He already saw Sign in Blood, and the fact that he saw Nighthawk in all swamps, he's got to think that Lash Ride is an option.
I mean, one of the things...
Dissipate is for sure gold.
One of the things I think about when I see an opponent with all black spells, I do think Lash Writhe is just so reasonable to expect.
Do you think he brings in Dismember? He already saw Nighthawk, and it's possible he could have Obliterator. Like, you can never tell. As soon as somebody sits down against you with a mono black deck, you got the amount of range that person could have. Like, people who play mono black are capable of anything. Seriously, they might have Phyrexian Rager. Who the hell knows?
Well, and you've got to
Mimic
be careful,
that?
right?
Why not?
You know, and Mimic that's actually a very reasonable card in this current metagame.
All these cards are. I mean, mono black people are crazy. Like they're like foaming at the mouth. It's like you got to respect them much the same way that you can't just, you know, if you come up upon some dynamite in the middle of the sidewalk, you don't just start playing hopscotch over it. You have to respect that it is dynamite. It could explode. Same way with mono black.
James Gerbic on the left with mono black, perhaps hoping to be dynamite in this room of rock, paper, scissors. I'm not actually sure who would be rock, paper, and scissors in that, but oh well.
I'm pretty sure blue-white Delver's still got to be rock.
Right. Blue-white, nothing beats rock.
And
green-red aggro.
Green-red aggro.
And then Nyapod.
And Nyapod are both like, most people would say like red-green aggro and Nyapod are like 55-45 favorites, right? At low elo?
I guess
maybe not, I don't know. I know the pod people certainly think they win.
The pod people, I think, when I've been watching, have been crushing the red-green aggro people, but I don't know which one of them beats the which one theoretically beats Delver.
I thought that they both are supposed to, but then they lose to other things.
I've heard those claims. I have not seen it very
There are
much.
a few decks that were supposed to be beaten by as many people as Delver.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what beats Delver. Grixis.
You know, actually,
Yes.
one of my favorite things that you said at any point is what's
Wow.
what's so great about beating? I want to say Cawblade is what you said. What's so great about beating Cawblade 65% of the time? The mirror is 70-30.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if the Delver is quite as skill testing of a mirror as Cawblade was, but Cawblade was also weird because depending on where people were used to playing it, some people thought the matchup was totally luck based. Other people thought it was super skill based because it was one of those matchups that like at a 1700 elo, but you know, like a 1700 versus 1750, it might be totally lopsided in favor of the 1750 versus you know, a 2050 versus a 2100, it could be a coin flip.
For those of you who are newer to Magic and don't know what these numbers are that Patrick's talking about, there used to be a little thing called the ELO rating system where you could roughly gauge a player's skill based on this chess-based rating system. And it was not very accurate, but the thing is...
No. ELO is perfectly accurate. The Magic implementation of it was what was inaccurate. ELO is by definition accurate.
So going onwards, though, there is a total utility to exactly what Patrick's saying here, because different matchups do make different things happen at different levels of the game. We see a duress here from James Gerbic on Matt Costa. Oh God, what do you take here? Do you take that Pike? Do you take that Celestial Purge?
In the dark, I take Ponder, and I have
Ponder?
no idea what's in James' hand.
Well, Matt has not, as of yet, shown...
How do you not? It's
yeah,
got to be
Ponder.
He doesn't have
only
a
one
land.
land. Only one land. It's got to be, yeah.
Besides, Ponder's the only restricted card in his hand.
Is it banned in any formats?
Yeah.
It's a
Ponder.
banned card. Oh.
Yeah. You can't do it. Take Ponder. Let's go. Send him a message. Tell him you're serious.
Oh, he already knows
I'm
he's
mono
serious.
black. Proud of it. Take your Ponder. Your turn.
And away it goes. Hoping to strand Matt Costa on one land only.
Yes, takes the Ponder. And he may have been respecting the Pike. I mean, Pike is a tough card for him.
What you got, James Gerbic? Both players revealing things. Tragic Slip, Liliana. Oh, is that a one-land hand of his own?
Okay. Wait. So it looks like he mulliganed.
Yeah, he
which
mulls.
helps explain how we got to this spot. But this is...
And another Gitaxian Probe.
So it draws another shock for James.
I think, does he have a Scour in hand? Yeah, he does.
He does.
So he's got 2 more cantrips coming. Oh!
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Do you Scour in response just to try to find the land?
Yes. Next question.
Just asking.
What
Matt
is it?
says
No!
no.
Take the Thought Scour!
Take the Scour.
Jack this guy. You can't get away with that in this league. Yes. Punish him. Mono black him. Yes.
It's a shame that there isn't Cabal Therapy. Oh, man.
Oh my god. I don't know. If there was Cabal Therapy, I think we'd be seeing some more of those, I will sacrifice my Geralt's Messenger to Cabal Therapy.
Gravecrawler.
I'm going to sacrifice Gravecrawler. I'm going to name Restoration Angel this time. You look like the type.
Are you emulating anyone? Oh, Doctor. And what do you have? Same as before.
Oh, what do you know? That's weird.
And, oh boy.
Wow.
Look
Plenty
at
of land.
this.
So there's Runechanter's Pike, and there's that.
And Matt Costa running 20 land. Count them.
20 land is so much when you have 12 cantrips. He can't possibly have 12 cantrips, does he? All right, good.
11.
He only has 11.
11
Okay, that makes
cantrips.
sense. 20 land is so many.
Which strikes me as he had 12 cantrips, 19 lands, and he was like, this is not quite right. Not quite right. One more land, one less cantrip.
How could he possibly have played it up? Oh, wait. He plays a lot of Delver.
He does.
So this is where James needs to draw land and Liliana real quick like.
I mean, is
Land
he on
Liliana?
like a 2-turn
Land
clock?
Liliana? Yes.
Boom!
Mono black ya, brah.
And there goes the two-turn clock. It's become a little bit bigger of a clock.
That's what she said.
I think I see Vapor Snag, Celestial Purge, Restoration Angel, and O-Ring.
It's interesting. What do you think about O-ringing Liliana here instead of purging? Seems like the O-ring might have other applications, like hitting a Lash Writhe.
Is Matt trying to be mana efficient?
Awesome.
I mean, that might be his rationale. Personally, I think mana efficiency is overrated. And here's a Nighthawk.
Rewarding him for this line, as now he can purge the Nighthawk and then Vapor Snag the next card. Does he have a Nighthawk, or what's his, is it Geisty Trap? Is that his new card?
I could not make it out.
Looks like a Geisty Trap.
There it is, you are correct, sir. Wow. And now James does know that Matt Costa has Celestial Purge in hand. In for 2.
No fear. I guess no value in really being afraid.
Verdict.
That's generally categorically true.
Wow. That's awesome.
So James Gerbic is out here grinding.
Oh, we see the 4th mana. Vapor Snag, Celestial Purge, Angel, and that's
Those are his 3 cards. This is a good match. For a couple of guys stuck on one land, this is a good match.
And there's the Purge. Get out of here.
Out of my game!
And James Gerbic says go. I believe he has a Doomblade and Friends in hand. Doomblade, Mutilate, and I don't know what else.
Is this where we see Snapcaster Mage Ponder? Oh no, it's a Thought Scour, not a Ponder. Or not a
Delver get buried. Getting him a Snapcaster. How lucky.
There you go.
You main phase this, right?
I don't.
Really? Okay, fair
Depends.
enough.
If you're going to get the Ponder, for sure.
I would Ponder here.
But see, one of the things you could do, if you think there's a chance that James is going to tap out, all right, he does, and he's going to Ponder.
James might have a Surgical Extraction.
It is possible. It's like Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible.
Tragic slip before the... Are we going to see the Vapor Snag?
Dude, I would snag there. Why not?
I would snag too.
I'd snag so fast.
And there's the Ponder. Snag, land, snag. I wouldn't snag those. Those can go away.
So, nice little match here. Gerbic with a sizable life advantage over Costa. However, Costa with a Runechanter's Pike, meaning every single creature is potentially lethal in 3 hits.
James with no real graveyard attack other than Surgical Extraction, so that Pike is actually really, really scary. He can't reset it, he just has to deal with it. He's got 1 card to deal with it.
2 Ratchet Bombs. I'd board in Ratchet Bomb here. It's so good against O-Ring and against Geisty Draft as a backup plan and against Delver flipped.
There's a Lash Writhe. Dissipate, Restoration Angel, Vapor Snag.
We're going to see a Dissipate here, for sure.
Boom, Dissipate. Take that, Lash Writhe. Get out of here.
Out of my game.
Lash Writhe is an awesome card. Okay, untap. Untapu, upkipu, draw. All of the swamps. Can see it, Zendikar style pyramid. James Gerbic. Sign in Blood. God,
Love
that
it.
card is so good. I love Sign in Blood.
What do you think about that Wild Guess?
Less excited about Wild Guess.
Dude, I read this article about the philosophy of fire. Discarding a card versus 2 life, it's the same thing, brah.
Bruh.
Absolutely.
Thank you to Mike Flores for the heavy shout out in that article.
Yeah, just recently, Flores was talking about that. One of your real big contributions, the opening up of of damage, like conversion of resources, like life total and cards, and life total and tempo. The realization that there is a trinity, not a duality.
Yep. We've got a Snapcaster from Matt Costa. There's a lot of cards in that graveyard. I wonder how big that pike is. And he
Big
scours himself. EOT. And goodbye Moreland Hunt. That was a sad loss for Matt Costa there.
They could have been the bottom cards of his deck. Being superstitious is...
I'm just saying it was unfortunate that it flipped. Not that it was anything other than a lucky or unlucky thing. Doomblade. Nope. Or go for the throat, my bad. Snapcaster Mage, despite being a cybernetic guy, he does have a throat.
So we're getting dangerously close to the spot of the game where Costa can use Restoration Angel to protect a Snapcaster Mage. Costa looks like he's just going to keep 2-for-1 in Gerbic until eventually a creature lives.
Oh, Blade Splicer.
Just throws this down, figures, hey, well, we're just hanging out. Let me give you something to keep you busy.
I mean, Blade Splicer has 2 creatures versus a deck that largely goes 1-for-1. It's going to have to draw out a Mutilate, or James is going to be even further eked out of cards that matter.
See, it's times like this where you're like, man, why isn't my mono black deck, why don't I have like something to close it out, you know? Like, he's got a couple Worm Coils in his deck, but if he doesn't have that Disciple of Bolas combo to draw enough cards to get ahead, he's got so many 1-for-1s, he eventually can just succumb to the 2-for-1 with Snapcaster Mage, 2-for-1 with Restoration Angel,
Yeah.
2-for-1 with Blade Splicer, and then eventually one of these pieces of equipment that he can't get rid of finishes him off.
And the thing also about the Disciple, that Disciple getting some card draw requires, usually, if it's going to be a significant amount, a Lash Writhe in play. And Vapor Snag is very good at stopping that moment from happening. You cast the Disciple and they go, well, let's bounce your token in response.
So here's a question for you. What if a mono black deck, what if they had 4 Woodland Cemeteries, 4 Evolving Wilds, and a Forest? And then they had Thragtusk, Crushing Vines. Like, Thragtusk, now that's a guy you want to sacrifice to your Disciple of Bolas.
That guy's okay.
The life gain, awesome. He's a nice finisher. Crushing Vines would help so much for these artifacts.
Mutilate, as we were talking about before.
Mutilate's still good. If you have 4 Woodland Cemeteries, it's not even that much.
We were talking about this with Brad Nelson earlier, and I'm with you, Patrick. I think that you don't need to maximize your value for it to be a good card.
There's a lot of kinds of value in this world, you know? Like, you know, moderation in all things anyway, but like sometimes if you're getting enough value from it. All right,
Snapcaster EOT.
Yet another removal spell.
Edict. Okay, -1 life. Now, Matt Costa's life actually is getting down there. He's getting close to 1 hit away from being killed by a Lash Writhe should James Gerbic find one of his 3 Lash Writhes. 2 left, I suppose. And Matt untaps. He's got another Snapcaster. Good God.
Well, that's the thing. Snapcasters, Restoration Angels, all these cards, it's like Ponder begets more Ponders.
And Snapcaster.
I'm going to see a Gitaxian Probe so you can keep the mana.
He might even pay 2 life here.
Oh, for sure he will. If he doesn't have a land in his hand.
His life is getting, it's just starting to get low.
E-Rel. Matt Costa is not scared. Never scared. Never, never, ever scared.
Pays the 1.
Oh, boo. I can't believe he's scared.
Oh, there's the Disciple and there's a Batterskull. Not a good hand for the situation, actually.
Not a bad combo.
Great combo, but Matt Costa has enough, with Mana Leak, can stop James Gerbic from being able to use that Batterskull.
So he needs to top deck a land here so that he can pay for the Batterskull.
Does he have it?
He does. This is going to be exciting.
This makes it much better. Is there a Vapor Snag still in Matt Costa's hand?
I hope not.
Just a Restoration Angel. And we have a Germ.
So James Gerbic with a Batter Skull, mana to pay if Costa tries anything fishy. He's got just a Disciple in his hand. It'd be nice to be able to draw some extra cards. He's got a sizable life total advantage. Unfortunately for him, Costa is threatening to kill him with this. Is the Pike on the Snapcaster here? Is this lethal? If he finds a way, like if he finds a snag.
Oh,
there's
Celestial
the
Purge on the Germ. It is
game?
black.
I mean, if he's got enough instants and sorceries in his graveyard, this might be game.
Ponder. Oh, he's thinking about his mana, actually.
Time to count.
I don't think it's enough. I think it's close, but not quite.
He's got to have, like, what, 10 maybe? This is like a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-turn clock. He can, at the end of the turn, if he needs to, Restoration Angel, snap, get Vapor Snag from the yard, if he needs to. And he's got double Mana Leak, I think.
Not sure.
Single Mana Leak.
This is looking bad for Mono Black control, though.
He's got Snapcaster Dissipate.
If Mono Black is really gonna step up and fulfill the prophecy, people are gonna have to start building their Mono Black decks to beat Delver. You know?
That has to be. I mean, what happens a lot, I think, is people are like, I know what we should do. We should play this new control deck I have against your aggro deck. What do you got? Red, green aggro? Let's do that. Well, that is a good thing to do, but more important is to first sit down against enemy number one, whatever that is, and I do think it's Delver. James Gerbic here in a really tight spot. Disciple. Let me read that.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Oh, wow. Angel. Snapcaster comes back into play. Vapor Snag. And prepare to die.
That's the match.
James Gerbic.
Matt Costa wins 2-0 with Blue-White Delver versus James Gerbic with Mono Black control.
Yeah, I think that this matchup, unless the Mono Black control deck finds a very, very specific build, that this should usually go very heavily in Delver's favor.
Part of the way that Grixis and Blue-Black were always able to beat the Delver decks was by just drawing more cards. Having Think Twice and Alchemy or Ravings or any of that, you could just draw enough cards so that you could stay ahead of them. The Mono Black deck, 4 Sign and Bloods, not enough. He's got Disciple, but the problem was he couldn't ever get going enough to draw any cards off.